Welcome to Chris Horner's Corner. Today is January 1st, 2023. I want to bring you guys a story from 2011 at the Tour of California, and hopefully by the end of the story here, it'll help you stay focused and keep that New Year's resolution of keeping that diet, staying thin, staying fit, riding the bike more throughout the 2023 season so you can enjoy being on those weekend rides with all your friends or doing those big time pro races. Now, in 2011, we had the Tour of California coming up, and it was a big objective for the Radio Shack team. Johan had come up to me just before while we were at the Basque Country and said, Chris, we got to win the Tour of California. And I was like, I can't do the Tour of California because I'm doing the classics, and there's no way you can go from the Basque Country at 100%, go do LBL, do Amstel Gold, Flesh Wallone, fly over to the Tour of California and start the Tour of California with anything that resembles winning form. He said, we need you 100% at Tour of California. And I said, okay, we got to race those classics. So we finished the Basque Country. I hopped on a flight straight from there, flew back to my San Diego home where I took a few days easy and then started training. When I arrived at Tour of California, I was the lightest I'd ever been at 137 pounds, and I was ready to go for stage one at Tour of California at the Tahoe stage. Only problem was there was other plans with the weather. Now, the weather had come in and it started snowing that night, and all of a sudden there was talk about having the stage one canceled. The problem is I'd done a big block of training, and then I'd taken 3 rest days easy just before Tour of California started. On top of that, the night before stage one, I had eaten for a 110-mile stage race that was going to start the next day, and that morning I'd had the calories that was going to get me through a 110-mile stage at Tour of California. Now we're all dressed up, we're waiting for the stage to go, and it gets canceled. Now we got to jump on the Team Radio Shack bus and go from one end of Lake Tahoe all the way to the other end to where our hotel was at. Get off the team bus, I run straight over to the mechanic and I say, get my trainer, put it in my room, get my bike on there and get it ready to go. Once I hop on the trainer, I start training 100% hard because I had so many calories the night before at dinner, so many calories that morning that now I needed to burn those calories off. Otherwise, I knew with 4 rest days and that many calories, I was going to be incredibly blocked for the next real stage one at Tour of California. So I'm on the trainer, sweating like crazy, suffering the whole time mentally and physically, going as hard as I can, and absolutely at the limit. One point in time, Bart Nags walks in there, and he's one of the big-time owners of the team. He walks in there and he goes, what are you doing? You got a stage one of Tour of California starting tomorrow, and you're driving it on the trainer here today. I said, Bart, I ate calories for stage one. I had rested 3 days for stage one, and they canceled it. Now I need to suffer on the trainer because we all know when you get on the old school trainers, you got to suffer if you're going to get any real work done. So I'm suffering big time. I get off the trainer after 3 hours, full gas, burned all the calories. I end up going on winning later when we're talking about 2011 Tour of California after winning the first mountain stage of that year's race. That means I was ready to go and everything worked out, and all that suffering on the trainer paid off. Now I fast forward all the way up to 2022 last season. About this same time in January, I'm talking to the guys at Zwift, and they're trying to send me a trainer. And I'm like, guys, I'm not professional anymore. I have like 3 trainers already at home at my garage. I don't need any more trainers. But they want me to get me on the platform, of course, because I want a Grand Tour and I'm a U.S. rider, and they're ready to send me a whole unit over to my house. And I'm telling them I don't want it. They finally convinced me to take it, and when they send it over to my house, I get on it, and to my disbelief, I'm sitting there on the trainer, falling in love with being on the trainer in my garage while I'm on Zwift. That's why I thought it was perfect for New Year's resolution to bring to you guys here on the channel, because everyone's New Year's resolution has to be about diet, or if you're a big-time cyclist, which is probably why you're watching the channel, it means it's about being fitter, enjoying riding your bike, hopping on the group rides, and being more competitive. And so for my New Year's resolution, since it had changed from the old days of just trying to be fitter at all costs, so if you're miserable on the trainer, you got to deal with it, to now having fun on my bike, I'm able to still hop on the trainer nowadays and enjoy riding my bike. And I thought it was a perfect experience to bring to you guys on how much I love being in the virtual world and on the trainer. Now, the biggest things when you're talking about being in the virtual world and training, you can meet up with friends on it, And the next biggest thing's got to be the real world feel to the pedals. Remember the old days when you'd click the trainer down and change the flywheel pressure back down your back wheel, and you'd feel the gears just lock up, and then you'd have to push through it. You're watching your watch as it's counting down. You're doing 30 seconds, 20 seconds to go, 10 seconds to go, and you're counting all the way through the miserable seconds till you can finally back off and shift the gears back, and then you shift it back and your pedals spin really fast. Well, the biggest upside to Zwift has to be that when you see the top of the climb coming, it's just like when you're out on the ride, your pedals ease up to have that natural feel throughout the whole course. So if you're riding on a flat road, it feels like you're on a flat road. As the percentage starts to come up, the pressure on the pedals changes accordingly, so it feels exactly the same as it is out on your ride. Now, the other upsides is that there's always somebody on Zwift when you're on. Whether if they're your friends or not, there's always someone there. Maybe there's some guy that's doing just 10 watts more than you. You want to go a little bit harder, so you find that guy that's doing just a little bit more pressure on the pedals, and you can meet up with him and just follow him for 20 minutes or 10 minutes or 10 seconds. It doesn't really matter, but it'll get you that extra motivation to push it a little bit harder. And most important for your New Year's resolution, it'll keep you on your bike, which will keep you fitter, have more fun, and it'll make it more enjoyable when you go and meet your friends on that weekend group ride, or when you go to that next pro race. It makes that day, that miserable rainy day like we're having here in San Diego, California on January 1st, when I had to get on the trainer today, it'll make it more enjoyable, so you're not taking the day off and skipping days of training or forgetting how important it is to ride your bike. Even though it's a miserable rainy day out there, you can hop on your trainer, enjoy it, and you don't have to be like stage 1 of the Tour of California that was canceled for me, doing 3 hours of hell so that you can keep that fitness and go on later to win the Tour of California. Remember, when it's about you keeping your New Year's resolution, it's always about staying focused, and don't forget your objective, but it's always about having fun, being fit, and enjoy riding your bike. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next edition of Chris Horner's Corner.